It's already too late for me. Most people in my situation would cry, weep that death is only a few steps away, and they have absolutely no one to blame it on but themselves. But for me, I can't help but laugh. The situation is just so hilarious. I thought the Starvation project would guarantee to launch my career to new heights, but instead, I will die from it. I have at my fingertips what I need to stop it too, but my pride and ego won't make it so. The irony is almost too delicious, like the food I will never be able to consume again. Forgive me, I'm getting far too ahead of myself. For the past 40 or so years, I have created and managed all projects to come out to Alton Inc. You won't find information about us even in the darkest corners of the net, nor a single soul alive to know anything beyond our name. Our agents make very sure of that. They're watching me right now, in fact, and I'm only able to send this off because of my security clearance. And even then, I can't explain all that much at the risk of my family mysteriously disappearing. But I will try to tell what I can. Alton Inc. deals with the, well, let's call it the more creative side of weaponry advancement. We're funded by multiple governments who help keep the lights on and then fight like wolves to outbid each other for our little creations. Trust me, any especially torturous device for things like putting down protests or having dissenters vanish you can come up with, we have made eons ago. My personal favorites were those nanites that could crawl into one's ear at night and drill a rather large hole into their skull. But I digress. Despite my title being of scientist, I've always considered myself more of an artist. And as an artist, you naturally strive to outdo yourself. For a while, I've been looking into ways to weaponize the mind itself. Sure, I can go for the easy route and simply make something that will cripple one with depression, anxiety, or even schizophrenia. But isn't that a little too obvious? Besides, man is ever resilient. The particularly strong could overcome such an obstacle. No, I would need something that would destroy the mind and body in unison. Something that only a gifted artist like me could make. And just like that, a brilliant idea popped into my head. Everybody loves a hearty meal, don't they? To keep them healthy and strong and full of that fighting spirit. The amygdala area of the brain is especially important in regulating your urge to eat. But what if there is such a substance that could modify that area? For it to change the brain's reaction to food as a hostile enemy they must reject, and to starve themselves until they become nothing but skin and bones. And sure, there absolutely are means to keep them alive with such a condition. But I don't think any soldier would charge into battle with a feeding tube, or a country could keep the millions inflicted alive. And so, project number 4826 was born, or as I'd like to call it, the Starvation Project. I knew it was instantly going to be a challenge. My team and I have experimented with mind-altering stuff before, but never on something that required so much precision. The first experiments were immediate failures. All we succeeded in those first few subjects were completely shutting off their brains. While it was interesting to watch them just drop to the ground like that, it was hardly the result that we had wanted. The subject needed to slowly suffer to their painful death, wavering down an enemy's nerve as they witnessed that they too would suffer the same fate, resulting in, hopefully, their quick surrender. All of those tries and failures made me glad that I moved into the private sector. I could get as many test subjects as I needed, without having to worry about that pesky thing called ethics. That's probably partly the reason we were able to do it in just those few short months. A surprisingly simple concoction, really. Anybody with some basic chemistry skills could have created it. Report 2-CD. Gas substance SLVI-5102. Revision number 2 created. Contains the following chemical properties. Redacted. Allow the substance to be invisible to the naked eye, colorless, and nearly odorless save the slight smell of burning. It will be tested on patient number 88, named Emma. Apparently number 88 was my own magic number. I can't recall anything about her all that well. All I remember about her is she had been a prisoner on death row, donated to us by a local jail. My, did she ever put up a struggle as she was tied into that chair. In the testing room, I stood intently through the glass as I gave the order for the gas to be released. In just a few seconds, and completely unbeknownst to her, she had been infected. Is that it? She stammered out, confused. Yes, the test has been concluded. I replied coldly. As a reward for your cooperation, we would like to award you with a little something. I entrust smoked turkey as to your liking. An assistant entered her room with a fresh oven-roasted turkey and promptly laughed. Yeah, sure. Why was that guy wearing a gas mask? Don't worry about him, I softly assured her. Please, enjoy your feast. You've earned it. I glared fiercely at her as she just stared at the meal. Is something wrong? I asked with a smirk. I'm not feeling all that hungry right now. Oh, I see. But please, do take a bite. I really don't think. I will have one of my assistants shove it down your throat if you don't. I hissed. Eat. Report 3-CR. Test subject number 88 has been successfully infected. When attempting to consume an item of food, number 88 almost immediately vomited. Upwards of 7 minutes and 27 seconds. When forced to eat other items, including chicken, applesauce, crackers, and stuffing, number 88 repeated the same reaction. This seems to prove that not only does SOVI-5102 make people adverse to food, but has the bonus effect of having the subject completely incapable of holding down any as well. Not unlike bulimia. Number 88 has been taken to a research room for further analysis. Report 4-RY. Subject has been unable to hold down any food for 1 week. Number 88 does not report any nausea or has demonstrated any signs of food poisoning. However, the mere mention of food now makes the patient vomit. Number 88 also complains of weakness, dizziness, abdominal pain, and other symptoms common to starvation. Report 5-CY. It has been 2 weeks since the original experiment. Number 88 has been retrained after being caught clawing violently at her own stomach, screaming that something is crawling in there. Number 88's mental and physical needs continue to deteriorate rapidly. Number 88's BMI is now at 13. The doctor has indicated that number 88 has only 1 week left until she dies of starvation, unless nourished by a feeding tube. At this point, I concluded that the experiment was a success. I ordered the team to start larger production of the substance. I honestly couldn't have been happier. This was something that no other person could have created, and I'm sure that it would make our client very, very happy. I could have simply left her to starve and die. She wasn't needed to the company after the project's conclusion, but I'm not completely devoid of humanity. I ordered a feeding tube for her. It was only fair for suffering so much, and keeping her alive for the rest of her natural life was a good deal for her part in making such a miraculous invention. I was so thankful, in fact, that with assistance, I wanted to be the one to put it in her arm. I entered her room. She looked like, well, pure death. I could see every feature of her skeleton through her deflated skin, her eyes baggy and sunken as they could be. And did those eyes ever give me a glare? They spoke of pure malice, pure hatred for me, but not for long, I had hoped. "Emma," I candidly stated, "I am Mr. Darrell, the designer of this project and who you were speaking with that first day. I would like to personally thank you for your sacrifice for the betterment of science. As a reward for your bravery, I've decided to give you a feeding tube to keep you alive, monitored by staff members for the remainder of your natural life." I stared down to see her reaction, but she just blankly stared, not so much as a quiver. I continued, "While I cannot permit you to leave the premises, you will be provided with any entertainment within reasonable means." Still nothing. Her eyes felt even colder, shooting shivers up my spine. "I understand your silence, but don't worry. Your mental facilities will soon be restored. I will now insert the tube. You will feel a slight." The moment I touched her, she suddenly reached over to me with her other arm and grabbed me by the collar. With the strength surprising of somebody in her condition, she managed to hold me long enough to spit in my face. I instinctively slapped her across the face, shattering her paper-thin neck. The medical team rushed in to retrieve her body while I stormed off to the bathroom to clean off her horrendous deed. Damn it, she had even managed to get some in my mouth. I swished and I washed it out as much as I could, but this terrible metallic taste remained in my mouth. And from the little that was caught on my cheek, I noticed that it had an almost slime-like color. However, it was only during dinner time that I understood the true gravity of what she had done. Despite having felt starved all that afternoon, I now only noticed that my hunger seemed to have vanished. I tried to eat anyway, and the next thing I knew, I was hurling in the sink. Report 6-UW. Despite best efforts otherwise, number 88 has been terminated. Those inflicted with SOVI-5021 are suspected to have the ability to spread symptoms of the substance through bodily fluids. Number 88's autopsy has demonstrated evidence that SOVI-5102 is capable of creating pathogens of itself and the infected bodily fluids. I have become infected myself through such means, and will be monitored to see if my symptoms are the same as the directly infected patient. It's been a week since I've submitted that report, and it's probably the last one that I will ever make again. Hypocritically, I have declined not to be put on life support like number 88. If I may never make art again, that is not a life worth living. I also did not research to start on an antidote. I did not devote these years just to vainly throw them all away. I will go the way I likely deserve, like a dog. I do not weep on my deathbed. I can only find joy and hilarity. The Starvation project has been more successful than my wildest expectations. The client has already received the formula and date pertaining to SOVI-5102. It is completely out of my hands. The only question now is, when will the client use it? So, if you're ever going about your day, and your appetite suddenly vanishes, and the ever slight smell of burning wafts throughout the air, well, it's already too late for you. Isn't that hilarious?